Centuries. It's one of the earliest trades, the early examples that are found in Egypt of trade between India and a very big and special event. And thank you for being here. And I'd like to hand over to Gautam, who will tell you who is the next speaker and will be conducting the flow of events. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mehta. I would now like to invite Mr. Saket Dhar, the Vice President of Fashion at IMG Reliance, organizer of Lakme Fashion Week and in Handlooms Day at Fashion Week. Thank you.
Thank you, Gautam. Thank you, Tasneem. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here for part of being special announcement. Being 15 years of being in fashion and of being a thought leader in the fashion space. Our initiative, Indian Handlooms and Textile Day, is a special initiative that we launched 4 years back, has received high critical acclaim from fashion media and all our stakeholders. The purpose of Indian Handloom Textile Day is to showcase variety and vibrancy of Indian weaves and to highlight and popularize the Indian craft and textiles to the global and younger audience that Lakme Fashion Week caters to. So for this purpose, we started the Indian Handloom and Textile Day 4 years back. I'm also happy to note that the Ministry of Textiles, Government of India, has endorsed this unique initiative and they have also given financial support for this. As we are celebrating 15 years this season, we decided we should have a special edition of the Indian Handloom and Textile Day. So therefore, on 27th August, on this Indian Handloom and Textile Day, we plan to revive, uplift, celebrate the campaign called Reinvent Banaras. Now let me take you through in detail on what the Reinvent Banaras campaign entails at Lakme Fashion Week. So while we are going to bring alive the magic of Banaras hand on the ramp, we are also going to address the challenges this industry faces through exhibition, through workshop, panel discussions, seminar. I am happy to receive support of India's leading designers for this Reinvent Banaras campaign. Social media also, Lakme Fashion Week, a following of more than 1.5 million followers, and we educate them on the Banaras handlooms through this hashtag Reinvent Banaras. Thanks to Shinasi for curating the entire campaign for us, for mentoring us, for brainstorming us on the ideas and coming up this amazing campaign. And I'm also thankful to Padma Shri Ritu Kumarji and Tasneeta for collaborating with us on this special campaign. Thank you very much.
Saket has already said, and it's really a thank you to Tasneem, to Shaina and to Ritu for gracing India Style Day with their presence and with their ideas. Like Tasneem said, I cannot think of a more befitting place to showcase our glorious craftsmanship. And I'm very, very much looking forward to how it comes during Lakme Fashion Week.
Thank you, Purnima. Moving on, may I now invite one of our chief collaborators for the Indian Handlooms and Textile Day initiative on 27th August, Ms. NIC.
I'm sure that it's okay to be a miss sometimes.
Sorry.
Let me first start by thanking Tasneem because I think this is by far the most exquisite venue in Mumbai city today. And if you agree, you must clap because Baudaji Museum requires a lot more recognition than we're already giving. At the outset, Saket, Purnima, Gautam, our team of Lakme and IMG, it's great that you're not just treating this like one more fashion week, but you're thinking of the weavers, the artisans, and all people who actually create what is going to be shown that day. A stalwart, a veteran, a friend, Ritu Kumar, of course, designers, Shruti Sancheti, Krishna Mehta, Himang, who's come all the way from Banaras, and friends. I want to give you a 2-minute background of how this all started. We, as in a group of 4 to 6 designers, met Honorable Santosh Gangwardi in Mumbai first. Told him that, it's imperative to make Banaras weavers, per se, into a trend, rather than treating it as one more thing that the handlooms are doing. There is one project, tokenism, and that's the end of the story. It went on where we met with him again in Delhi, where we 40 designers, irrespective of ego, irrespective of thinking, I am bigger, I am small, participate in this movement. By the end of it, I was able to convince each and every one of them, and this is a rarity in the fashion fraternity, to believe that this is a corporate social responsibility, where you have to give back, as in the designer, to the artisan. And if we want to improve the lives of the artisan and the weavers particularly, we need to ensure we teach them how to make commercially viable collections, which we sell at our individual stores. And then under the Make in India platform, we have various tags. For example, a Make in India by Ritumar, a Make in India by Shruti Sancheti, a Make in India by Krishna Mehta, a Make in India by Hemang, and etc., to the point that you have a Make in India by Saeed Bhai, who is an artisan. When this concept picked up, all of us went to Banaras. We worked there. We coordinated with the locals there to see how the fashion industry can take this forward. And that's why I'd like to thank Lakme, IMG, Saket, Nimap, and Gaurav particularly, because I feel that, if corporates also treat this not as some kind of token that we have done exhibition for, it has to become a movement. And for it to become a movement, every institute has to take it that much further. At the time, we have close to 100 designs, big and small, lots of weavers who are benefiting of this design initiative. And we're hoping that in the month of August, at the earliest, we launch an exhibit here at the Bhavdari Museum. The idea of an exhibit is you can see a traditional sari, you can see a designer's interpretation of the same fabric, but completely done in a jacket and a ghagra. Any visualization of the creation by the designer and the weaver. Every exhibit will have who the weaver is and how fabric has been sourced, created, etc. If we have these type of movements city to city all over India, I think genuinely, rather than saying we have one handloom ministry and textile ministry that is doing what it needs to, it will be a movement of fashion trend that picks up. And it can only pick up when we have the expertise of the people who understand fabric, who understand what is to sell, and when we have design that can visualize and create what the design wants. So I'd like to thank all of you because I really believe it's the beginning of a corporate social responsibility. And for the month where this is going to be exhibited here, we will appeal to every segment of society to come and see what truly Make in India is. So thank you all for your participation, and thank you the entire fraternity for having no ego and absolutely contributing by giving back to the artisan and the weavers of India. Thank you.
Thank you, China ji, for making some significant points. It is now our pleasure and honor to have Padma Shri Ritu Kumar with us today. I would like to invite Ritu Kumar ji to please take us through her journey of reviving the industry in Banaras.
Good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah? Okay, before I talk about the weaving industry in Banaras, I just want to recap a little my journey in this field. Started about 45 years back in a very remote village near Calcutta, in a very remote area where embroideries were done traditionally. So was another area where printing was done traditionally. And it's fortuitous that we are sitting in a place like them where a lot of what happened in the industries of crafts started seeing its death knell. The British were here, they wanted to take all our fabrics, get them made in Lancashire, bring them back to India to sell, whereby most of our handicrafts, handlooms and textiles died. Now, there has been an amazing revival. Somebody had told me back that all of us would not be sitting here in dresses. I would say, you must be joking. We will not be able to take the onslaught of the Western marketing depth that the people have from a Eurocentric background in Europe. And we will not be able to preserve our textiles, our crafts, and very importantly, something which is called Indian fashion, which is truly Indian. But that has not happened. Embroidery is a revival. It now caters to a huge bridal market. Printing has become India's own once again, which it always used to be. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same about handlooms. Now, there has been, I think there's a reason for this. There must be at least 100 years of disconnect between when Banarsi handlooms were patronized by the royalty of this country, and they used to buy their beautiful saris. In between, after that, due to colonization, all our designs turned into English wallpaper designs. Thereafter, we got Chinese yarn, we got metallic lurex yarns, and Banarsi silk sari is almost unwearable. Now, a big endeavor. It is not going to be easy. I don't think the design community has a magic wand which can turn those 100 years so fast into something that's going to be relevant like tomorrow. But the beginning has been made. We have to focus on Banaras and the various handlooms in the country and see whether we cannot revive what must be perhaps the only living weaving tradition in the world, not only in India, but in the world. Banaras is the only place which weaves silver and gold onto silks onto handlooms. It is that, it weaves in white, it weaves fabrics for the Buddhist monasteries. It has the widest type of weaving the world has ever known. And I am very afraid that if we do not do something like these initiatives, in the next 5 years, we would have truly lost it. So here we hope that we are making a great beginning. And to everybody who's in this endeavor, I would offer encouragement. And let's see something better in the future years.
Thank you, Rituji. Ma, can you please throw some light on the ground reality?
Thank you. Thank you, Gautam. Firstly, I come from Banaras, which is normally supposed to be the oldest living city of the world. So a big thank you from Banaras to all stakeholders today for bringing Banaras into the center spot of the whole. Thank you, IIM. Thank you, Lakme. Obviously, thank you, Shaina ji, who has been coordinating the whole thing. It's a lovely museum. I'm coming after 15 years. So, and I cannot even tell you the difference which I see. What I saw when I was studying fashion at NIFT here and what I see today. So, big thank you. And a huge, obviously, thank you to Ritu ji, who has really taken this up. Not only as a CSR, but something like what we say as an ambition to change Banaras. There's a very, very famous quote which is attributed to Banaras, which is by Mark Twain, which is Banaras is older than history, older than tradition, even older than the legend, and twice as old as all of them put together. So change something which is so old will take a lot of patience. That's one thing which I want to speak about. The main problem changing Banaras is not the amount of money you can put in, the amount of designs. It's just that you'll need patience. Banaras is one of the oldest weaving traditions of the country. It will take a lot of time. I always believe that embroideries are love affairs, but weaving Banaras is like arranged marriages. You have to give it time. Obviously, in the last 15, 20 years, there have been things which have not been done right in terms of the quality, in terms of design interventions. I'm sure with Rituji and the likes, Shruti is working there. There are so many other people who are working in Banaras now. Thank you to Shaina ji. I'm sure things in terms of design will change, but all of us who are here as a fashion, who are part of fashion industry or as pure wearers, we have to give Banaras time. And I just request all of you to spend some time, patience and energy on Banaras, and I'm sure things will change. Working there is difficult. The weavers are facing a tough time. They haven't really had the best of times 15 years. So there are all kinds of issues. So revival will take time, but I'm sure it's going to happen and we'll see new, reinvented and rejuvenated Banaras. Thank you.
We would now like to open the discussion to questions and answers. So any questions from the audience to our esteemed panelists, dignitaries, please feel free to ask. So I'm going to bring in textile designer Krishna Mehta, who's here with us. Please. With Banarasi Weaves.
Thank you very much for the platform. Thank you, Shaina. Thank you very much for being here. It's a pleasure to be in this museum one more time after years. And it's a great feeling coming here to talk about one of my favorite weaves, and that is from Banaras. It means a lot more to me. Working with Banaras for the last 25 years, maybe a little bit more than that. And I cannot say that it has been any easier or any so fast. It is not so easy. But then beautiful things take time to make, and once they are made, then you will be able to see and enjoy the beauty for a lifetime. So I guess Banaras is one of those things, and thank you one more time for giving me this platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna. Shruti Sanjay.
Yes, hi, I'm Shikha from the Indian Express.
Shikha, is that question to me?
Yes, Ritu.
Your question is how to contemporize the fabric?
Contemporize, yes. Are you looking at anything particular, aesthetics?
Okay.
Or?
What I feel about Banaras, and I think we need to take one step at a time. Banaras has to, first of all, be something that appeals to you as a person. Tomorrow, if you get married, I don't know whether you are or not, but when you do get married, you should want one Banarasi sari in your wardrobe, which suits you, which drapes, which looks beautiful, which is exotic, is everything that a Banarasi sari in our mind is. Now, to do that, we have to change the yarns they're using. We have to go back to the old aesthetic of the designs they used to use, the old color palette, and the old aesthetic and balance. I believe even if we can produce 11 saris which are beautiful for the younger generation, we would have gone a long way ahead of making Banaras again something that people like to look at. The next step, of course, would be to make it into jackets, to make it into kurtis, you make it into any number of things. But what we have lost in Banaras is that basic one lovely piece that we identify Banaras with. So I think this, as he said, is a long process. The actual structure, the foundation needs to change or go back to what it used to be. And the younger generation would love it. These are very, very attractive fabrics. But we've tried now to try and make them attractive again. But they have gone devalued over the last 100 years. So that's basically the answer.
जैसे कि आपको पता है कि एक डिज़ाइनर को संभालना कठिन है, यहाँ 100 को संभालना मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि कैसे करते हैं, लेकिन आई थिंक द डिज़ाइनर्स हैव बीन वेरी मैच्योर ऑल्सो. उन सबको पता है कि मेक इन इंडिया के माध्यम से उनका भी योगदान जो है विश्व अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर तक हम ले सकते हैं. लेकिन सबसे अहम भूमिका ये है कि जो आप एक ही साड़ी बनाने वाले हैं या एक ही पोशाक बनाने वाले हैं तो वो वीवर को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. आज मिनिस्ट्री भी जो योगदान कर रही है तो वो टोकनिज्म है इन अ वे, बिकॉज दे क्रिएट समथिंग जो नहीं बिका तो 30% सेल में कोई हैंडलूम हाउस में बिका, उससे कोई मूवमेंट नहीं बनता है. मूवमेंट तब बनता है जब बहुत सारे बड़े प्लेयर्स, आज आप अनीता डोंगरे को देखिए जिनका टर्नओवर 300 करोड़ का है और जो वो बनारस को एम्पावर करती है और अपना फैक्ट्री यूनिट वहाँ लेती है, वहाँ बनाती है, तो वो प्रोडक्ट उनके कमर्शियल स्टोर्स में बिकता है. फिर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ टेक्सटाइल्स, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडस्ट्री, बहुत सारे इंटरनेशनल प्लेटफॉर्म शोज है. आज हमने कभी भी सोचा है कि विश्व भर आप जाओ तो कोई भी म्यूजियम में आप एग्जिबिट हमेशा देखने जाएंगे. हाल ही में लंदन में अलेक्जेंडर मक्वीन का जो शोकेसिंग था, लाइन से लोग खड़े थे देखने के लिए कि क्या है हुनर, क्या है टैलेंट. और यहाँ हमारे पास म्यूजियम्स हैं जो खाली जाते हैं. तो ये पहली बार हम फैशन शो की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम एग्जिबिट की बात कर रहे हैं. और इसमें बहुत परिवर्तन है क्योंकि एग्जिबिट में आपको देखने मिलता है कि इनका टैलेंट ये है, इनका योगदान ये है और ये कारीगर है जिन्होंने बनाया. तो वो कारीगर को भी जो एक प्लेटफॉर्म की आवश्यकता है वो डिज़ाइनर के माध्यम से मिल रहा है. एंड आई थिंक दैट आपने सही सवाल पूछा कि इसके बाद क्या हम करते जाएंगे देश भर में. IMG के बाद अन्य शोज़ भी हैं दिल्ली में, अन्य कैलकाटा में, चेन्नई में अभी इंटरनेशनल हैंडलूम दिवस 7 तारीख को मोदी जी स्वयं जा रहे हैं वहाँ पर. द मूवमेंट विल कंटिन्यू एंड इट इज़ नॉट लिमिटेड टू ओनली द बनारस स्टोरी. महाराष्ट्र में आप देखिए कितने सारे टेक्सटाइल्स हैं. तो हमने यहाँ भी हमारे चंद्रकांत दादा पाटिल मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ टेक्सटाइल्स से बात की है कि यही मॉडल आप छोटे छोटे शहर में महाराष्ट्र में भी कीजिए, बिकॉज इट इज़ सेल्फ सस्टेनिंग, इट्स अ गुडविल जेस्चर. जहाँ डिज़ाइनर शोकेस कर रहा है अपना टैलेंट, जहाँ ग्राहक देखता है कि म्यूजियम में ये सब चीज़ बन सकता है और फैशन स्टूडेंट्स प्रेरित होते हैं. वी आर गोइंग टू गो स्टेट बाय स्टेट. रिता में कितना काम कर चुकी है, श्रुति संचेती ने ऑलरेडी किया है पैठनीज के साथ, द वीव्स, शी इज वर्कड इन येवला, यवतमल, एवरीवेयर. सो एवरी डिजाइनर कैन टेक ऑन डिफरेंट स्टेट्स. गुजरात से इतने सारे लोग आ रहे हैं हमारे ये IMG के शो को देखने 27 को, क्योंकि वो चाहते हैं कि गुजरात में वो कच्छ में यही करें. तो every state has to pick up this movement. This is not limited to a specific region. It is about weavers and artisans per se, and from wherever they come. You will see a time when maybe some of the designers may feel that we want to incorporate Orissa and Banaras. You never know. Anything can happen in the field of creativity. And it's absolutely necessary, and I think Hemang here will stand testimony to the fact that in Banaras, the weavers and the master weavers who really have that talent, so many of them today are working in call centers. So many of them are working as security guards. Why? Because every time they create a product, if it's limited to just that one product, it's a one-off. If you have to sustain in any business model, you have the people who market, you have the middlemen who create that product, and you have the weaver that actually makes it. You take an example or a case study of a pilot project in Gujarat where the tribal women were taught a particular art as fisherwomen. And from 8,000, they suddenly started earning 16,000. So if you're going to ask me that can the weaver become the end designer and market his own product, it's very difficult. How do we designers also survive? We empower the people who are working for us by giving them X product to create. They create it, we design it, and then market it through a brand. A lot of times weavers can sell directly, but they don't have the business acumen. And most artisans, if you ask, don't have that business acumen. But this is the first time we have a movement where from the master weavers to the middlemen, to the actual weaver, to the designer, everyone is involved. So I'm sure as they do well, they are even smart to realize that they can sell it on their own and sell it at bigger prices. And if there is a market, then the product sells. But if you go wrong, as Rituji said, with polyester yarn and fluffy fabrics and wrong color coordination, then you're not going to do that well. That's where the expertise comes in.